Alhamdulillah wa Rabbil Alameen. Allah fi kul umri esta'in. Allah fi kul umri amjid. Innani altay subhanahu wa ta'ala amtanani wa shukri. Wa anna altay ta'ati wa bayati ala kitabillah wa sunnati rasuli alayhi salatu salam. Muhammad huwa sayyidina makbubina innahu kana rasulan nabiyyan innana nahibuhu wa natabiruhu wa ala sunnatuhu wa shariatuhu salawatu rabbi taslimatihi alayhi. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh lil ikwani wa akhwati fi din wa salamu ala man ittaba huda lil ikwani wa akhwati fi Afrika wa Europa wa Amerika wa Asia wa kulli makan. Halim wa salam bikum. Kayfa halukukum wa ailatukum ma Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, thank you for who show up today. My dear sister, Amina, assalamu alaikum, and those in the future. And I have to say, before I start, I was out for a while, a couple of weeks with the Moroccan flu. I mean, this is the first time I had it that bad, and it really, it did a number on me for 2 weeks, about 2 weeks. It really hurt me a lot. I was pretty sick. And, but subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me shifa, he gave me health, and I was restored. Alhamdulillah wa rabbil alameen. And then right after that, I had my DNA results come in, and that was a shock and a blessing, and it brought tears, but also pride, and also it brought a closure, because I felt like it was 400 years, a mystery was now solved. And so I got my DNA results, and I can share some of that with you at this particular time. My DNA results show that I'm full of, mainly my mother was Guinea Conakry. And then also my mother side, there's Sierra Leone, the Mende people. And then Liberia, can you believe this? The Capelli people of Liberia, and then Senegal, Mandinka. So I was very proud to have this heritage. And so I embarked on some things to try to marry up the family tree from the United States and Africa. And it led me to to learn more about my ancestors. And I have to get a shout out to my cousin, my nephew in California, because he's like a wizard. He's got the schematics and everything on the side of the family inside the United States. And my dear cousin, Amina, she's working on trying to get our family married up in Africa. And so I've been embarked on that. And so this is why I had taken this hiatus at that time. So I'm glad to be here again with subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission. And I like to say also that, there's no greater feeling in the world when you discover a mystery and you know something is there, but you don't have the answers for it. And suddenly that mystery is solved. And I can't tell you, a man of my age now, in the mid-60s, and I find out, I look at my mother and then I look at my father. It brought me a lot of tears because they passed on. And I was really, really, with joy. And I thought about my mother because, every son, the mother, especially in our generation, our mothers took care of our sons tremendously. And I thought about the heritage that was bestowed on me from her. Of course, Subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that gave us all of this. And so I'm a proud African to know that I'm Fuller and I'm Mindi as well, and Capelli and Mendika. I would not take a back seat to no one. I don't care who this person is. And as I always say, I'm still a Black man, and I'm proud of that. I don't mince meat on that. And I'm Muslim, but the priority is I'm Muslim, but I'm a Black man, and my heritage is here in Africa, and it's been established. Alhamdulillah, wa rabbil alameen. Okay, well, we're going back on the series of Iman, and Iman is a subject that's very difficult because a lot of Muslims are still confused about it, as I have talked about many times, because Iman encompasses so much. And because of the modern times, Iman has taken a back seat. We have a lot of groups who have innovated and to create their own Iman, meaning faith in Islam, and cause confusion. And this is why the Muslim world is so divided, uncertain, and so forth. And this is one of the reasons, because we do not really understand our deen. And also we know that the enemy has taken shots and made sure that they've arrested and have curtailed many of our brilliant scholars who cannot come before us, who are locked up or in house arrest or just out of sheer fear. They can't come talk to us and to guide us. And so what has happened is we have a lot of people who have taken the mantle and they have misled us. And this is very, very sad. So I wanted to get this. I wanted to have some class of some sort where I break it down very simply to help you in this regard, to understand your deen. And Iman, if you remember some of the episodes previously I had where we talked about how Subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at our faith. And we talked about the things that take you away from faith and what strengthens your faith. We talked about the Nawaqid al-Islam 10, the nullifiers of Islam, which is a serious case, as I talked about. And I gave you we went over the 10 and I gave you the proofs to talk about the Nawaqid al-Islam. And so now we're back into the part of Iman in itself. And I covered some other things before I took my hiatus. And we gave some examples at that time as well about Iman as we start to develop Iman. Now we're going to get into the part of you as a Muslim and how you yourself can build upon this. But also, you can also ask the question about your brother who's next to you. Now, what I mean by that is not to question him, to accuse him, or to have doubts about him. We are prohibited from that. But we should have like a question that's here is, how do we know about a new Muslim and his Iman? How do we know if he really truly believes or not? And these indicators, and why this is important, because among our ranks of Muslims today, we have many imposters who are there inside the masjids next to us only to spy, only to turn us in. And as we talked about before, many are using their own population to blend in with the Muslims in order to accomplish this. So you as a Muslim, and you see a person and suddenly you notice a lot of things about him that's not quite right. And you maybe it's wrong to have suspicion, but when there's overwhelming evidence that's in front of you that makes you think, well, Yahya, I don't know. He said he's a Muslim. He said he's a new Muslim, but I'm wondering about some things about him. Well, you should be worried, because in the current climate today, that could land you in jail. That person sitting next to you could get you to say something, and you're thinking he's a brother, and he's recording it. And next thing you know, you get a knock on the door and they take you. This is happening far too much, especially with the recent events after the Americans got their rear ends, literally kicked and thrown out. Now they are in a rage, and you can imagine who they're going to take it out on. And we see this already taking place in the United States. So my brothers and sisters, please be careful in that regard, in what you say, how you say it, and who you say it to, because you do not know who that person is, especially if you do not know them. Or even if you do know them, you should be very wise in what you say today about certain current events, because that can land you in jail. Or if you say the wrong things, that could be written and deemed mean apostasy. So just stay away from those type of topics, because you do not know what is happening, and it's best to stay clear of it. Then that way you have no problem with that. So how do we know about this new Muslim? He would have to be a person who is acceptance that the divine revelation came to Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. You know, there's Muslims today who say they have iman, but yet they have doubt about the authenticity of the what subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And it's amazing how they think this way, but many do. The modern Muslims do have this particular thing. Now you should start to question when you start to talk to this person and he starts to have doubts about how the Prophet actually received these revelations. Second, is this new Muslim in iman? Is he complete in his belief? Does he believe only in some parts of the Quran, and he has some doubt about the Sunnah of our Prophet ﷺ? This is something that that we see today, and we have people they call the Quraniyun who are promoting, and they're gaining followers. The Quraniyun are those who are avid about the Quran, and they'll tell you, that's what I follow, and I follow it only. And they don't follow the Sunnah of Prophet ﷺ, and they're not Muslims. I will not call them Muslims because they're not Muslims, because anybody who talks against the Prophet ﷺ say they don't believe in the revelations that he received, and that he's made errors in these revelations, and that his Sunnah is full of errors and inconsistencies and so forth and so on. Is not a Muslim but a kafir, and he's an adu mujrim. He's an enemy disbeliever, and you stay away from these kind of people, because they're on Facebook. They have their sites and everything. Be very wary of them. Sometimes they'll come in to a site. I had my battles with a few of them who came in, and I didn't know who they were. They became friends with me, and then suddenly I began to notice what they were writing, and then I knew they were Quraniyun. So be careful of those kind of people. Third, the person who again has any doubts, and now a young Muslim, meaning not necessarily in age, but he's young in Islam. He may have, and it's natural because he has not been geared and trained yet. Subhanahu wa ta'ala is still testing him. So he may have some doubts, which is normal. And that's where, you come in. If you see something that I'm having problems with, I'm a new Muslim, well, you try to guide that person. But if they begin to make statements, those statements may be in ignorance either, but they ask you questions. They say, well, I don't understand why we make wudu at this time, or why is it that I must make wudu after, I have my monthly cycle. They may ask you questions like this. That's not meaning that they're not true Muslims, or that they're weak Muslims, or perhaps they're not Muslims at all. No. They have the right to ask that, because they may not know, and they need that guidance in order for them to understand. You explain why we make wudu, and you give the proofs to them, because they knew that. And many of them don't know how to make wudu. So this is what we're talking about here. And also number 4, the Muslim who he's young again, and his iman needs to be molded. And when he begins to venture into different groups, this happens to many Muslims, even some are famous African-American scholars. They went into the Nation of Islam. I'm not going to get into that. And they talked about what happened to them when they were there, and when they saw light. This is what happened to a lot of new Muslims who come into Islam. They'll go into the wrong, different sects, and then they get misguided. And then finally, subhanahu wa ta'ala draws them out of there, and they see the light, and they come into the right way, the Sunnah, the Sunniyun, the people who believe in the Sunnah. And this is what happens. So also number 5, the person, if he's new and he makes blasphemous comments, he is not a Muslim at this time. Meaning, I've seen this. I know of this too as well, where we have a Muslim who he's upset because he has to pray because the dunya is on his mind. He's got to go pay bills. He's got to make phone calls. He's got to do this. He's got to do that. He's got to go and fix dinner, or he's waiting for his dinner to come, and he doesn't understand why the dinner is being delayed. And suddenly he hears the adhan, and he makes a comment that's ill-advised. And he may even use curse words, saying, well, you know what? Oh, the adhan's coming right now. I don't want to pray. I'm waiting for my food. Things like this happen, especially with the new Muslim and also with the hypocrite. But the new Muslim may do this. Here, the patience have to be. You have to examine what he has said, and you have to gear him. If he continues to make this, then he's gone. He's out. But we have new Muslims that sometimes they get overwhelmed because the devil is starting to go after them. The dunya is so important to them that all of a sudden they hear that. They say, look, I got to call this man. Oh, why should I go ahead and pray? So they even delay the prayer, and they may not even pray Salat Door or Asr. And because why? They wanted to take care of the business of dunya. We find new Muslims have these problems like this, and we have to guide them and ask subhanahu wa ta'ala to help them. And also the 6, as I said before, saying things that constitute kufr and shirk. The new Muslim will do this sometimes out of ignorance. And again, we have to be very cognizant of that, and we have to help our brothers and sisters who are new and they do not understand. And you believe in their heart by their actions and by watching them that you believe that they didn't mean what they said, and they just don't know, they're ignorant. But if they say something very strong, if they say something bad about our prophet, or that they believe something that the disbelievers have said about the prophet, and they said they kind of believe that, or they said they have doubts about subhanahu wa ta'ala and his book, that's a different story. Even if he's new, that is a different story. That casts this new Muslim out. This is not a harmless statement. This is overboard. When a new Muslim makes a comment about salat, or he's angry because he's waiting for his dinner, and he says, "Oh, I don't want to pray right now." These are human traits. He's new, and his iman is not developed yet. He doesn't understand what that salat means, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I wanted to bring that up to you because it's important, because we have a lot of new Muslims. We have to nurture them, not to shame them and throw them out, because a lot of times they get beaten up by Muslims, the old veterans, the OGs, so to speak, Muslims, and they go after the new Muslim and they drive them out of the faith. We have to be very careful in that, and we have to be, more understanding and try to help our brothers and sisters when they're new, and they may make ill-advised comments that are kind of kufr and shirk, but they're not meaning in that sense. But the one who comes out directly and says something about subhanahu wa ta'ala, his doubt, or about our prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam, those are serious allegations. At that time, now that person, you have to advise him, hey, you go make Toba. You just cast yourself out. If he says, hey man, I ain't making, this is what I believe, then you move on away from him because he's out. Now I'm gonna cover something about the names of subhanahu wa ta'ala only a little bit, because this is in itself as a class. And reason why I'm going to mention that, because this is a serious principle in Islam. Majority of the Muslims can't even give you one name of subhanahu wa ta'ala. They cannot. The new Muslim who comes in, he does not No, because he's still young. He hasn't been nurtured. He's still trying to learn the deen. But we have OG Muslims, so to speak, and sisters too, that been in the deen and don't know not even one name, can't even recite two names. They don't even have even one name in their heart that they love, that they love us of subhanahu wa ta'ala. We've had that. This is a big problem in the faith. How can you say you love subhanahu wa ta'ala and you can't even give not one of his names? There are 99 beautiful names and attributes. Beautiful, beautiful names. And we should study that. Even I'm weak in all of the names. I'm weak in many of the areas of that. But I can recite and give you many of the names, especially ones I love. And I recite those names and I call out to subhanahu wa ta'ala in those beautiful names. And those attributes, you got to be very careful as well. We have Muslims today who will recite the 99 and you give them the 99. Then they begin to make up their own names for subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot do that. You don't have permission for that. Our prophet gave us this. We understand that he codified these 99 names. So therefore, that's what we stay with. It's been perfected. We don't add names. We have no permission to do that. Even if those names are beautiful that you're adding onto it, it must be rejected. You must define and follow, and you must also adhere to and cherish the 99 names that subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, this is mine, this is me. So this is what we follow. It's easy because you love subhanahu wa ta'ala to come to make up names for him. Those names are beautiful, but you got to be careful of that. You cannot do it. Also, no one can be compared to subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, we have new Muslims will make a comparison with something that some creation or something that's very powerful. There's no creation of nothing that compare to subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's evident in the near the last of the Surah Ikhlas, where subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about what he is, and he's made it clear there's nobody who's begot him. So therefore, there's no comparisons. So you cannot compare subhanahu wa ta'ala to anybody. And also you cannot misuse these names of subhanahu wa ta'ala. You got to be very careful. I've heard some of this even around here where people have used the name of subhanahu wa ta'ala and didn't know it. And they used it in such a way that was disrespectful. They did not know it. And one I heard one day, and I went to corrected the brother and told him, hey, that's one of the names of, so he was shocked. He thanked me a lot for that. He didn't know. But again, he didn't study either, but he didn't know. And I corrected him. So my brothers and sisters, please be careful. Be careful in this regard, okay? Please be careful in this regard, dealing with the names of subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot add those. You can't add 100 or 101 names. You cannot. You must take the 99 names and go with that. Don't try to add to it. You get yourself in trouble for that. Also, in this regard, there's none of the names that subhanahu wa ta'ala are negative. He's not called the destroyer. He's not called other names that are negative. All of the names of subhanahu wa ta'ala are very beautiful. They're not negative. That is something you got to remember. There's no negative connotations with the names that subhanahu wa ta'ala describes himself. There's not. So that is an important factor about the names of subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also, again, as I said, you cannot adopt things and you add things and you adopt new names. You cannot even take that and then spread that. You make up a name for subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot even do that. You can't even utter that in prayers. You cannot. It's forbidden for you to do that. You can call out to subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has 99. I think 99 names for any person. 99 names. You can pick some name in there that you can use to call out to subhanahu wa ta'ala, like as-salam. That's my favorite. I love that. Every time I hear this word, there's something about it that really gives me this feeling. That's a name. That's his name. That's one of his attributes. It's beautiful, isn't it? You think about it. And so you use the attributes in the names and you call out to him in those names. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't make up names and try to call to him in the names that you made up. You're not qualified for that. And you're outside of the Sharia and the Sunnah. You get away from that. Don't do that. Stay away from that. But we have people doing that today. They're creating other names of subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we even have, even our enemies of Islam will say that, hey, you know what? Some of the names of subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are negative, they're bad. No, they're not. None of them are. That's their own creation. Okay. Now, how do we know about the person who says he's a Muslim and he loves Allah? And we have the other one who says that he is a Muslim, but he doesn't love subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is, again, we have this problem today, my brothers and sisters. We have this problem. And one of the things you'll know about this Muslim, that he loves subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the indicators is he hurries to salat. This is a beautiful, you know, this man loves, this Muslim, our brother and our sister loves Allah. Because why? He hurries to salat. He doesn't wait 50 minutes after or 1 hour, lazily get up and you know, he said, okay, you know, I'm gonna, okay, I'll go make Fajr prayer now. And he goes and lazily do two units, 2 rakats, and then he's finished with it and he moves on. He doesn't even know what he's recited. We're not that person there. He does not love subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, again, let me preface that, my brothers and sisters. We know, even it's been rare, but it's happened to me before where I overslept. And, that's a different situation. We have remedies for that. They can happen to him. That doesn't mean that I'm now lazy or I don't want to pray. It happens. Subhanahu wa ta'ala knows I wanted to get up, but I overslept and I needed that sleep, that rest to restore my body. Especially now as an older man, you need that extra sleep nowadays in order to be fresh. And I get up, I get up an hour, 2 hours before, and I have things to do as I was specified, because I make sure things are right inside the house. I make sure that the drinks and so forth, because in my house, we drink herbal drinks all day long. So I go and make the drinks and everything for the family and to make sure that everybody is up and so forth. So I need that rest to do it. So if I oversleep, it's not because I become determined. Assalamu alaikum, my dear brother. How you doing? Assalamu alaikum. How you doing, my dear brother? And so this is one of the indicators that this brother loves Allah. You know why? Because he hurries to salat. And one thing you can see here, I have this Adhan watch. And when I lose it or I misplace it, you can ask my wife. Boy, I get frenzied. I'll be trying to look. I go say, have you seen the watch? Where's it at? Even though I know it's not the salat, but I'm so geared because the Muslim who loves Allah, his day is geared around the salat, not the dunya, but the salat. Because his day, when he wants to do something, he has to look. He says, you know what? I can't make it because Dor is at this time. I may not be able to go see Yahya at the time he wants because Salat al-Asr is there. So the Muslim who loves Allah, that salat is important for him. He hurries to salat and he protects it. That's how you know, my brother and sister, that he loves. The other opposite end is the lazy Muslim. You see them in the masjid a lot today. They come in, you walk, and I watch the brothers many times. They come in. You see the ones who hurry to salat. You see the love for subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's waiting for that salat. He's ready for it. And then you see the hypocrite. He come in, he lazily come in, his clothes are unraveled. He goes and he how can I say, his face is unruffled. He comes in, and many of them don't even make the tahiyati to masjid, to honor the masjid, the 2 rakats. He doesn't even do that. And you watch him. And then you watch the comparison between the Muslim who loves Allah and the Muslim who doesn't. When the iqama to bring you to the salat line, comes down, you see the brother who loves Allah, he's hurrying to the line. But not this other one who's lazily, he scraggles to the line. And sometimes even the first takbir has been sound by the imam, and he's still lazily getting into the line. That's when you know this person doesn't love subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, now second is the Muslim who prays, and he makes all his prayers. He makes all his prayers. He's sick, and there's, if you get sick, there's another class in itself. When you get sick, you're still required to make your prayers, but there's things that you can't get up. I've had that where I was when I first came here to Africa, I got sick off the water because I couldn't drink the water. And I mean, sometimes I was just dead sick. I couldn't get out of the bed. So there's certain slots that you can make because you're sick and you can't get up, or you can go in the chair, but that's another class in itself. But we're talking about here that the Muslim who loves subhanahu wa ta'ala, he goes and he hurries to salat, even if he's in his house. And also, here's another thing about the brother who loves salat. He is avid about the establishment of the salat in the house. That's how you know also that brother loves Allah, because he makes sure his wife and he makes sure his children are also geared for that salat. He monitors the house to make sure that everybody is in compliance to that salat. The one who doesn't love subhanahu wa ta'ala, no, he doesn't do that. He doesn't establish the salat in the house. Maybe his children, everybody go to salat, and they just as lazy as him because he gives the lead. And his wife may not even make the prayer at all. But nowadays, we see the exact opposites happening. We have our sisters who are the caretakers of Islam in the house, and we have brothers who are lazy, who are not taking care of Islam and not even take care of the salat. We have our sisters running to get our brothers out of bed. They're going to tell him, make your wudu. You're supposed to be the head imam of the salat, and he doesn't even want to get up. And we've had sisters complaining. Here's Fajr, 30 minutes, 40 minutes after Fajr has been sounded. He still don't want to get up. He said, okay, I'll get up. And he doesn't get up. The wife has to make salat with the children. We see that, my brothers and sisters. That person there does not love subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's a hypocrite, and he does not love subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's an indicator right there. And also the number 3, the man who takes the salat and he takes it as it is. He doesn't question why he has to make 2 rakats and salat al-fajr. He doesn't question why there's 4 rakats. Rakats mean unit of prayer prostrations in Asr. He doesn't do that. He doesn't say anything like that. But the person who is borderline now, he's on his way out of Islam, he starts to question about the salat. Why this? Why that? He get to question it. Why do I have to go to the masjid to pray? What's so important for me to do this in prayer? They'll begin to question this. And that's how you know that this person doesn't really love subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know that. And you see this person also not making the appropriate comments about subhanahu wa ta'ala and about our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Now you say, Yahya, what are you talking about? We see today this attitude. You look at the person who loves Allah, he says, as I said many times before, he makes the right comment and use the 99 names, one of the 99 names of subhanahu wa ta'ala at the right time. He doesn't abuse it. The person most likely who does not love Allah, as I told you before, you watch these people. every other word he's mentioning subhanahu wa ta'ala, turning on the light, turning off the light. When he goes out on the street and he names off many names of subhanahu wa ta'ala in a conversation. No. That's hypocrisy. Watch out for this kind of person. If you look at the true scholars and you look at the men of knowledge, and also you look at our scholars of the past and even our ancestors, okay, our African ancestors, like Ahmed Baba Sudani, you read some of their literature, you see how they write and you see how they mention the names of subhanahu wa ta'ala at the right time, at the right given time. When something's happened, alhamdulillah, or they may say Allahu Akbar. He's doing it at the right time because something has come his way. He's not misusing that. That's the difference, my brothers and sisters, between the brother who loves subhanahu wa ta'ala, because subhanahu wa ta'ala is guiding him. Subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving him wisdom. Subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving him advice. And so he has that love. So when something comes up, his wife has given a birth to a son. He wanted that. And he goes in, he said, alhamdulillah. And he may make even a rak'ah to salat shukr, which is what you should do. This is a brother who loves subhanahu wa ta'ala. He loves him. He loves him dearly. And you see these people and you know it by their actions, not by only their words, but by their actions. That's prevalent among our students of knowledge and our strong Muslims today. They say subhanahu wa ta'ala is one of the 99 names at the right time. They don't misuse his name. And that's important, my brothers and sisters. And you say, Yahya, well, how can I acquire this? You have to do this by meeting subhanahu wa ta'ala. What Muslim says he's a Muslim? If he says he's a Muslim and he doesn't pray, so when does he talk to subhanahu wa ta'ala? Ask that question, my brothers and sisters. If he says he's a Muslim and he loves Allah, but he doesn't even pray, now when does he talk to subhanahu wa ta'ala? We have a prayer that's 1,000 times better than any prayer that anyone else have. You know why? Because we can talk directly with subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can bare our souls, so to speak, to subhanahu wa ta'ala, and nobody knows about it. We can ask for things from him directly. There's no middleman. Now, why would somebody want to abandon that? And subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us that. And this person said he loves Allah, but he doesn't pray. So I ask, when does he talk with subhanahu wa ta'ala? You know what I mean? When does he do it? But the Muslim who loves subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know that because he's hurried to the salat and you know he's asking subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive him. He's asking for him to bestow something for him. He's asking for the help of our ummah, and also for our brothers and sisters who are living under tyranny and stuff like that. This is the brother who loves Allah. And this is important. And also, we have in this part, the person says he's a Muslim, but he doesn't even read the Quran. So again, my brothers and sisters, you have to question something. If we say we love Allah, shouldn't we know and begin to love his book? If you don't read his book, how do you know about subhanahu wa ta'ala? How do you know what he wants? If I come to you and I say something to you and you don't know because you don't know what's in the Quran, you may read some things here and there. That's dangerous. Be very careful of that, my brothers and sisters. And yes, my brother Saeed here says he left Deen. That's true. This is a true factor. And Amina said the same thing. They're out. These people, the ones who said they love subhanahu wa ta'ala, essentially out. And they'll know by the indicators I've given you. And you watch this because we need to know this, my brothers and sisters, about these type of Muslims. And you should be very afraid of them because they can hurt you and they hurt the ummah. And you see them, you stay away from them. And that's one of the indicators. And I tell you, there's something happened some time back. I saw this. This person had no Quran in the house. None. When I asked the question about that, The person said, well, yeah, he said, and now he's in a Muslim country. Can you believe this? Born and raised in a Muslim country. And yet he didn't even have a prayer mat even to pray on. He didn't even have the Quran. And then I asked him a question. I said, when do you actually read the Quran? Oh, in Ramadan. And I asked him, I said, what do you read? He couldn't even tell me any of the names of the surahs in the Quran. He does not love subhanahu wa ta'ala. This person does not love that. Yeah, he'll tell you, alhamdulillah, boy, I've been a Muslim 45 years, and boy, I'm a strong Muslim, and so forth and so on. But he doesn't pray. I'm a strong Muslim, and he says he doesn't read the Quran. Be wary of that, my brothers and sisters. Please be wary of that, because this is an indicator. I'm giving you things today so you can understand about Iman, our Iman, okay? Iman niya Islamiyah. Why? Because we should learn this. We should understand this. We should embrace this. We should say, okay, subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm here. Please guide me. Please protect me. Please give me knowledge. Please give me good health. I want to be a strong Muslim. How do I do this? These are the things that a Muslim who loves subhanahu wa ta'ala, he asks. He asks him to be the best Muslim that he can be. He asks for forgiveness at the right time. He's always giving himself. He's always trying to perfect himself to be the best Muslim he can. He shed tears at the right time. Not phony, but shed tears at the right time. When he reads something in the Quran and it overwhelms him, or he knows something that's happened in the Ummah, and he prays for our brothers and sisters, like in Kashmir or some place like this, and the brothers in America, and he cries. This brother loves Allah. He loves Allah. This is an indicator, my brothers and sisters, of your brother or your sister. This is the person you hang around. This is the person that you go around and you protect this brother or sister. You make sure that nobody gets to him. And remember something, the brother and sister in Islam are like one. Okay, we protect one another. The ones who are weak in the deen, yes, we pray for them. But those who are literally out, like these here that I talk about here, you got to be very leery of them. Some you can approach and say, hey, dear brother, yeah, hey, man, I see you. You don't come to the masjid anymore. What's happening, man? I heard your wife say to my wife that you're not even reading the Quran anymore. You stopped to pray. Some are receptive to you coming to them. Others are not. They may curse you out. Or they may say, man, get out of my house. Get out of my face. I don't want to talk about it. Move away from him. Don't argue. Let them go. Let him between subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let subhanahu wa ta'ala deals with him in his time. But the ones you go around are the brothers, the Muslims, the mu'min who is strong in the deed. And I'm giving you indicators about who this man is. And again, this is not all of it. And sometimes we have things. Every person, I don't care who you are, you will have days where you are tired. And yes, you are lazy to a degree. You hear the adhan and you're sitting there and you sleepy or something. And you say, boy, and the devil will come and he starts to talk to you and try to make you, especially, truth be told, now at my age now, sometimes, in the time of the year where the salat is 10, almost 11 o'clock at night, I'm gonna tell you, I'll be sitting there and I'll be fighting to stay up. I mean, I'll be struggling to stay up, but that does not mean I'm a weak Muslim. I'm older now, and it's getting into my sleep time, and so therefore I may have a problem in that regard. But that doesn't mean I'm a lazy person or whatever. I get up, I make my wudu, I make my salat, and yes, I hurry to bed after that. I will tell you that. But that doesn't mean that I'm a lazy person. We all have days like this, or when we're sick, and there's things happen. We're sad, and you got to remember something. The Hadith Prophet said, if you're very upset about something's happened. Say you inside the house and the wife, and you guys get at it over the bills, or something's happened. Don't go to slot with this type, when your mind is disturbed this way. Even if you got to delay the slot 15 minutes, it's best to do that, because you got to give your full attention to subhanahu wa ta'ala in order for him to bless this salat. So you have something going. There's something in the dunya that's happened, or you had a death in the family, and yes, and you have to make salat asr, but you may have to delay it because you're sad. This is understandable. Don't go into the salat when you're angry, okay? Very angry. Your salat, it will suffer for that. Just remember that, brothers and sisters. Subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's in your heart. He knows you're a human being. He knows you. He knows his creation. So therefore, if something's wrong, if you got to delay this salat 10 minutes until you can calm down, do it. So you can go into the salat with the right framework. This is important, my brothers and sisters, of our faith. You should understand this and learn this and ask Subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you this love that when you hear the adhan, this adhan still warms your heart when you hear it. This is the love of Subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you get this and you have this in your heart. And when you begin to also make the dua for the ummah, this is the love of Subhanahu wa ta'ala. He loves you for this. He wants to see this. He wants to see you as the believer talk good about his brothers and sisters. And again, remember something in the Quran, my brothers and sisters. Subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded our prophet, alayhi salatu salam, to be what? Kind and considerate to the believers, but stern against the hypocrites and disbelievers. That's what you have to do. Meaning, again, we're talking about the enemies. The fourth, especially the fourth. Remember, I gave you the four. There's four of the disbelievers. Three of them, we do not fight them. We do not. They're eligible to a degree to dawah, to bring them to Islam. But the fourth one, remember, the Salibiyin, those who fight the Muslims and so forth. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the others. And so that is one of the conditions that we talk about, that the person who loves Subhanahu wa ta'ala. And remember that, my brothers and sisters, and try to ask Subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you this. And lastly, I will say, as far as the Iman goes, and I just covered the top surface and gave you some of the things about the Iman now, because we're getting into that, is I want you to take the 99 names. I don't know if you see, I have here on the, I don't know if it's, but anyway, I have the 99 names of Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many times I go over here and I look at that. And when I read the names, it gives me chills. Some fear, because I want to make sure that I'm doing right in Islam. And so when I read those 99 names, they're right over to my left here. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. I sit there and I read these names here, and boy, I tell you, some of the names have more special meaning than others. Some I don't quite understand yet, all the attributes about it. And I read those names, and I sit to myself, I want to be the best Muslim I can be. I don't want to make any mistakes, but I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes, but you know what I mean? I want this to not be able to make mistakes, but I also want to be part of something that I know that Subhanahu wa ta'ala will be happy with me. And there's those conditions. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he loves you, he does certain things. That's another class in itself. But I'll ask Subhanahu wa ta'ala, and when I read those names, it gives me, I'm very respectful of that. I'm kind of like, have kind of mixed fear, because I'm reading the names and the attributes of Subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is something. And my brothers and sisters, I will conclude the lessons today, and I want to talk to you about some things. And as I say, when I was sick, I was really sick, and I wasn't thinking I was going to die, anything like that. But I'm always prepared for that if something happens. But I was very sick, and I fought it. But I took my herbs. I stayed fast on taking my herbs: the black seed, clove, oregano, all these herbs like this. I did the schedule, because I've been giving people these lessons, and I've been giving these type of things to many people, many sisters especially, and so I stayed on the program, and alhamdulillah, it took care of this the flu. And I mean, I was really in bad shape. I was hot, cold, and I wasn't feeling well. I was weak, and so forth and so on. And but I got through it. Alhamdulillah, I got through that. And also, I wanted to say here in closing that we have to do something. All of us, we have to be kind and considerate to our believers, and we have to be stern against the hypocrites and disbelievers. Yes, we have to maintain that. And we have to also nourish our brothers and sisters who do not have the knowledge. And I always add something in this because I want all of us to gain that knowledge. And I want us to gain it and to teach it when it's right and according to when you're taught. I say this again. You have to be taught the religion. I'm sorry. This it's just the way it is, because there's so many ins and outs. You must be taught. Once you are taught it, you can then start to branch out and get books and begin to read and begin to teach. But you have to be taught. And you say, yeah, it's not fair. I have no way to go to Saudi Arabia. I can't go to the famous universities there in Saudi Arabia, or I can't go to Azhar in Egypt. I can't go to the great Imam schools in Sudan, which are gone now. That's another story in itself. But I can't do that. Yes, my brothers and sisters, but we have the media today. You can go on YouTube. And again, I've always said this, we got some brilliant African Americans, smart as a whip, and you can learn the deen. Some that you may not be able to, you may not like the way they approach the subjects, but you can learn and you can find them there. If you want some names, I can give you some names of some brilliant brothers, and the brothers are fluent in Arabic. They know the ins and outs of fiqh and the Sharia, and they have classes that are free online. And that you should look into that, because you should be taught. And any of you, when you begin to pick up the Arabic language, and this is a key too, my brothers and sisters, and I will close. The Arabic you have to, because the Arabic will give you and open up the doors that you cannot actually open without it. And it enhances your Islam, and you need that in order to progress in Islam. You got to, because Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gave our prophet this language. I mean, gave this language because the Quranic Arabic is different than the classical Arabic as we understand it. And so therefore, you should try to learn in order to get to the bottom of our religion, to get to the nuts and bolts of it, so to speak. And we have to, because without it, you just cannot master it. And it's important that we master this is our religion. And how many times we've seen this when a person comes and he asks a basic question to a Muslim. He says, I don't understand something about your religion. I noticed that you only do certain prostrations at certain times of day. You can explain it to him because you have the knowledge. Or he said, well, I don't understand about what do you do in this what you call wudu? And many people can't explain that. They say, they don't know how to explain that. And this is what I'm talking about. So I want to give a shout out today before I close here to my sister, Amina. Thank you, my dear sister, for showing up as usual. And thank you, my dear brother, Saeed, and for showing up today, and the brothers and sisters who showed up in the past. I understand the ins and outs about today, meaning, I know that my programs are hot issues. We know that with the enemy, we understand that. And again, my brothers and sisters, I always say, don't put yourself in peril. There's other ways you can do things. Even if you don't show up here, that's fine. And you go and download or whatever like this in the privacy of your home, they will not know about this. And you can learn, because today our enemy, it will try to fight you not to gain knowledge, and he'll to keep you in the dark. So beware of that, my brothers and sisters. Please beware of that. And again, I'll say this, as a black man, and Muslim, let me say something. I hope all my brothers and sisters go and get their DNA tested. I I don't know how when that results come, it has a profound effect on you. Now that mystery is gone, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. When you find out that you're Mindy, or you find out that you are Khan, or that you are from the Crew people, or you from the Fuller people, or you from the Mandinka people, and I'm telling you that it does something to you. I encourage you, my brothers and sisters, to take that DNA test. Find out who your ancestors. Find out who you really are, and it makes a difference. Because the mystery now of the slogan African American now takes on another meaning. I don't use that for myself anymore. Why? Because I know now I'm Fuller, I'm Mandinka, I'm Mindy, and I'm Capelli. I know that. So now I can say, hey, you know, I'll say I'm Fuller American, or I'll say I'm Sierra Leone American, or I can say I'm Guinea American, or Senegal American, because that's where my ancestors are. And on my dad's side is Nigeria. I know that, Nigeria and Ghana. And we also know too, and I don't mean to give a history class, but I'm going to say this. We know that the Mindy people came from where? They came from the eastern part of what we know today as Sudan. See, so we know that the Mindis came in waves across to the west and settled into, we know that as the West African, especially in the Gulf there of West Africa, and Sierra Leone, Guinea, Conakry, Bissau, and in the Gambia and so forth. So we know they settled in there, and they originally out of what? The Sudan region. So that's a little lesson, and that's a beautiful thing, my brothers and sisters, to know who you are, because it's important. Because we have brothers and sisters in LA, you ask them, who are you? Oh, I'm African American. That's what they say. Oh, but got their dads close to Maghreb now. Here, Maghreb. It's almost time. And you ask them, you ask the brother in LA, who are you? They can say, I'm Black, I'm African American. But you say, well, what do you mean Africa? Well, I don't know who my ancestors are. Take the test if you can, my brothers and sisters, so you can find out exactly who you are, because it's uplifting. And those who've taken it, like Saeed, he'll tell you how it is and how he has something I just recently discovered. He found and went to visit his ancestors, right? And the modern day family today, it is compelling. And when you start to find them, I found my cousin, and it's like I've been knowing her all my life. And we share the same great grandmother. We share the same great grandmother. And it's a great feeling to know my African sister. She's my cousin. We share the same great grandmother, because I found out my DNA. And so I found her, my cousin, my sister and my nephew, they're the ones who did the DNA originally first. And then they got a hold of her, and then they told me about her, and I got a hold of her. And it's like I've been knowing her for all my life. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's nothing better than your African family. I'm not trying to say it's bad over the United States, no, about our families there, no. But that's not a mystery. Here in Africa, it was a mystery. And when you begin to find your family there, it has a different connotation, as probably Saeed could tell you. When you begin to see them, you immediately have this love. It's profound. And I just want to share that with you, my brothers and sisters, because it's important. It's important. And I'm hoping the Muslims take something. It's going to be harder for you to leave out of the United States one of these days. Very difficult as a Muslim, because they'll put you on watch lists and everything else to prevent you from traveling. You got to make up your mind. The African American there who does not know his history and know where he's from, he's Muslim. He's got to make up his mind. Is he going to make hijrah, or he's going to stay there? That's something very, very important that you must understand, because the Americans will start to make trouble for you there to prevent you from coming, because now we don't have enough African American Muslims coming to Africa. We have the others, the non-Muslims, coming a lot. Very few Muslims are coming into Africa. And I'm going to tell you right now, if the Muslims from America begin to come here in droves, it's going to make a difference. I think that's a balance also to tip over to make the citizenship right. And we can put pressure because we have brothers who are Muslims in Muslim states. And here's a Muslim here, and we are brothers, Muslim aku Muslim. So that can also enhance the experience here to make it easy for the other African Americans and even our children to come over here to Africa in the future. So I just wanted to lay that out, my brothers and sisters, because it's important that we learn who we are. Alhamdulillah, I found out all these years. Now, here I'm in mid-60s, but I found out who I am. And it makes a big difference and how proud I am of that. And Subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me that because he gave me Islam and he gave me this heritage and he gave me my parents. I love them dearly. I miss them dearly, as most all of us knows, and my mom especially, because I can recall, as probably every man can tell you about his mother. What she knows is like a book. And boy, I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing like mom. And as remember our prophet said, and I will stop at this, he talked about how 75% of the child's love goes to who? The mother. 75%. 75% goes to the mother. There's a reason for that. She knows it's like a book. And as all of our men could tell you, especially in our generation, moms, she knew how to cook that food. You know what I mean? She knew our snacks. I mean, she knew how we were, and we can count on our mom. And when we got older, we can go to our mother and even ask for advice. That's our African mothers. And we miss them when they pass from us. We miss them dearly, like I miss mine. How much I wish I could hold and kiss her and say, Mom, guess what? I found out where your ancestors came from. I wish I could have told her that, but we didn't have that at that time because she's died many years ago. But okay, my brothers and sisters, thank you for showing up. Saeed again, thank you, my dear brother. Abina, my sister here from Compton, I miss you. Alhamdulillah, I'm glad you showed up. I'm hoping, and hey, protect your grandson, Abina, because I tell you, your grandson is a great football player. So protect him, okay? Keep him on the right path. And he's a handsome young boy. And make sure that the sisters are not running after him because he's a very handsome boy. Keep him grounded in straight path so he can hit the college and one day hit the pros. My brother Saeed, thank you, my dear brother, for showing up. And, he's from Long Beach, California. And so we're right next door, Compton boy in Long Beach. So, we got that affiliation. Abina's from Compton as well. And, I got my dear sister, Moroccan sister, Amina, and stuff like that. And, she speaks Arabic and her English is very good. And she's always present at my thing. So I have to say my congratulations to her because she's always been supportive of my program and stuff like that. So my dear brothers, sisters, and family, thank you for showing up today. And, I'll leave you with the beautiful words of Jinnah. Salamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.